That's the camera.
Yeah.
So sometimes when we want to talk, we can talk into the camera.
Mm-hmm.
We want to write stuff, you can write here. So Phoebe and I have been wanting to do this for a very long time. I know. If you guys don't know who I am, my name is Louis, and
I'm Phoebe.
And we own a cafe called Purple Cafe.
Yeah.
Shameless plug. There it is. And when we wanted to open the cafe, we were thinking, how do we promote the cafe? And we're thinking about a lot of shows that we want to do, because here's like a cafe studio, right?
Yes.
And after we paid the down payment for the cafe, and suddenly Phoebe got pregnant.
Yeah.
It wasn't planned. It's our second child.
Yes. Okay,
Phoebe, you were trying to make the microphone clear by raising it closer to your mouth. We're practicing, actually. This is episode 00. Yeah. So you got to go move closer. That's how podcasts move closer. So you want to try to get your mouth. Are you higher than me? Taller than me? You're sitting higher, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So where were we? When we decided to open the cafe, we chose the place because of the pandemic, and we wanted to do a lot of shows, and we couldn't really get the shows off the ground because Phoebe got pregnant, and she got really busy, and we were really busy. But now I think we have time to do the show, and we really want to do a show that is community-based.
Yeah.
And if I speak in English, I think, Phoebe, we should talk in the bilingual way so that a lot of our audience and customers can understand. So we will always want to do a show where we promote companies, restaurants like us, schools, like things in the community here where we live in Qingpu. And so today we're going to talk about that and see. We just want to brainstorm the idea of starting a podcast together, husband and wife. Let's see how that goes.
我觉得就是在这个区域，为什么选择青埔？因为这里是一个还蛮特别的重划区。然后我跟 Louis 我们就是讨论了很久，然后我们很喜欢这边的新的环境，还有加上其实很多都是跟我们同年龄的小家庭。那非常多深藏不露的人，然后也有很多专业人士在不同的领域，就来这边已经5-6年了吧，搬来5-6年，我们遇到非常多很厉害的人。其实你会发现这些人就是他们有很多的专长，很多东西是可以学习的。那我们也希望透过这个频道，到时候可以一起跟大家分享，还有访谈这些特别的职业啊，或者是这些人才。
So we're inviting our audience to brainstorm with us. So ideas. First, we want it to be community-based. So Qingpu is the key. Qingpu. Okay? And since I mostly speak English, how do I spell English? And Phoebe speaks Chinese. We want to make it bilingual.
Yep.
Okay?
Bilingual.
And so now let's brainstorm a name for the show together. I have an idea. Hold on. Let's call it Qingpu Live. What do you think?
My concern is we might not do live sometimes because of our time, because we have 2 kids, and then I'm not sure if the time will be.
Yeah, so it doesn't have to be live. We can pre-record the show.
And then play it?
Yeah, kind of like the way they do the live. I mean, you pre-record the show live, and then you stream it whenever you want.
Okay.
Yeah, so we can call it live, and it's hosted by Phoebe. Phoebe comes first. And Louis. Okay? And of course, sponsored by Purple. Sponsored by Purple Cafe. You like this name, or do you want to call it Live from Qingpu? you want to call it this?
I feel it's a bit random because it can't really distinguish us in there.
What do you mean random? You mean this second name is...
The first name.
Yeah. What do you mean random?
It's like, it's not like it's more of like, supposed to be like a name. When you see it, you know, oh, it's for us. Because everybody can do Qingpu Live.
But...
it's not like special or unique.
So you don't like this name?
Need to be more creative.
But the thing is, the thing about this name is not about being creative or not. It's easy to remember. But my main point is, we want to bring guests on, right?
对.
And we have our cafe wrapped around this.
Mm-hmm.
Always speaking English all the time. How can my audience understand? So, doesn't it make sense for it to be Qingpu? Because all the guests are probably, all our audience and the guests are probably here in Qingpu, and it's just community based. And since Purple Cafe is sponsoring the episodes,
how about Phoebe and Louis in Qingpu?
I mean, just call it our name.
Yeah.
Just say, okay, Louis and Phoebe Live. Like that? You think this is...
I feel there need to be a thing here to
it's
make
too
it...
long. What do you think? Of course, we don't want to call it everything... Because I feel... Would you think we will have guests come from...
Might.
All over Taiwan?
We might have.
But you can say, since Qingpu is this nice community, and we can say that it's called Qingpu Live because it is recorded here in Qingpu. Can we say that?
Yeah, barely.
Okay, we're going down the rabbit hole. So until we come up with a better name, shall we call it Qingpu Live?
Okay.
All right. So let's do the voice. Welcome to Qingpu Live with your host Phoebe and
Louis.
All right, see you. Let me do it again. Welcome to Qingpu Live, and I'm your host Louis and
Phoebe.
And we should have a tagline.
Yeah.
What's your tagline? Come up with a tagline. You know what I mean by a tagline.
Maybe you can come up with one. I can't think about anything. This is so random. 我们没有计划要就是今天要录这个，只是刚好有空档，然后就想说好吧，来录一下，所以整个就是没有在规划当中。
Okay, so we have a name. It's a temporary name. If it sticks, it sticks. Okay, we'll just call it Qingpu Live, and then we'll come up with a tagline later. Okay? So now. What do you want to talk about next? Purple Cafe?
我觉得大家比较好奇的可能是 Purple Cafe 还有我们的这些背景 background， so 可以谈一下我们两个我们自己，然后为什么 Purple Cafe， 然后为什么会有这个Qingpu Live 跟我们自己的关系。
Yes.
Yeah， 我觉得要先从Purple Media。所以如果你有找 Google 的时候，你会发现 Purple Cafe 旁边有个 Purple Media。那 Purple Media 是我们自己本身的从影视起家的一个公司。那后来我们就是比较多元，有涉及到 PR 跟行销的部分。那后来我们接的案子就是主要是台湾观光局做海外的推广，所以我们有参加很多旅展啊之类的。
I think what we should do, because this is not the first episode, I think the first episode should be called Purple Cafe. So there we can talk about how we started Purple Cafe and everything, right?
Oh, okay.
I think we should stick to the idea of the show.
Oh.
And so if we can figure out the whole idea of the show, here in this episode. Next episode we can be episode 1 is about Purple Cafe, the history, what we serve and stuff like that.
Okay.
And episode 2 can be about someone else. We can invite a guest.
Okay, back to the topic.
Yes.
So what's gonna be in the show? I like to talk about parenting life. Okay. Because I think there are quite a lot of things can share about parenting.
Phoebe wants to talk about parenting. Yeah, it makes sense because we're parents.
Also, this area, there are many families like our age. So I think I have a lot of guest lists. I already have a lot of pocket lists.
Okay, so it's like parenting.
Yeah.
It's not easy because we got to wrap the show quick and go pick up our daughter from school. 2 of our daughters, one from daycare and another from school. So parenting seems good. Mm-hmm. And there are other things.
Entrepreneur?
What?
Entrepreneur.
Entrepreneurship?
Yeah.
Okay, you write it down.
Because you don't know how to spell it.
No, I just don't want to make a mistake live.
How do you spell it?
你用中文啊。
Okay.
What is that in Chinese?
事业。
事业。那我做 parenting 是什么？
还有教育。
那我们什么可以做 bilingual show？
父母。Okay.
I'm guessing most of our audience can speak both English and Chinese, so that will help.
对啊，我觉得我目前遇到能够走进来很多，大概80%-90%的青埔人都是英文很 OK 的，根本就不用担心。
I also think that most of the things we talk, even though because we're kind of tied to Qingpu and the Purple Cafe, which is located in Qingpu, I think other people can still benefit from it. People from all over.
Yes. 当然我们不是要排除那些可能你觉得英文不是你的强项或是害羞啊之类的，不是，是就是因为这是我们两个的专长，所以我们可以用这样的方式去分享很多的东西，那他也会比较到位。那对我来说，有时候我也可以跟他就是以英文的方式交流。So either way, okay.
So we got 2 topics. I do think we should talk about. So the entrepreneurship is a good one because I think there are a lot of young people that can benefit from our stories because we've been through a lot and we've opened like multiple companies and we've failed and we went back up and now there's the pandemic. Yeah, and I think that there's a lot we can discuss here.
How?
Okay. In Qingpu, there's also the big thing about like real estate and stuff. Do you think we should talk about that?
Real estate?
Yeah.
可以啊，我觉得最近因为毕竟这是从化区，很多就是关于房市非常热嘛，所以大家应该会想要了解一下。虽然我们不是专业的，可是我们也可以请专业的人来讨论一下。
But also, when you say parenting, there's also education.
Oh yeah, this is parenting. Sorry, education.
So parenting and education, entrepreneurship, and what? Real estate. Oh yeah, but because health is a big thing.
对。
Health. Oh yeah, we need to get healthy. So health, parenting, entrepreneurship, real estate. This real estate seems very odd in the list because this is more about life stuff. But I guess like where you live is also. I don't think we should talk about real estate in a sense of investments. I think real estate should be in a sense of, oh, I live here. Where do I live? Where do I build a home for my family? Okay. Education, parenting. Oh, we definitely should talk about food.
Food, yes.
The reason is because we got Purple Cafe, and then we'll probably want to invite a lot of local, like, we're not foodies.
No.
We do look like
we
foodies.
Eat because we need to eat.
but I guess like because it's kind of related to what we're doing, so food and drinks. Also, I think a big thing we should discuss about is culture.
Culture, yes.
There's culture. In culture, there's a lot of branches we can talk about. I think because we are kind of like a cross-cultural family. And I think food can go into culture, where you talk about Chinese food, and I talk about Nigerian food, and we bring other people talk about other kinds of food.
Yeah.
I do think fashion can go into culture.
Yes, fashion, music.
Yes, I think also there's a big thing about like etiquettes, like greetings and stuff like that. That's a big on Nigerian culture, and then what's that here for Chinese culture? I think we can talk about that. Culture is big. So the only thing here at the moment that I think that's odd is this real estate, because if you look at parenting, entrepreneurship, and finance, I think that goes together. Because you need money to kind of run your daily life.
Probably should separate them.
Parenting and education should go together. Health should be on its own. Health and fitness. Okay? That should be on its own. But we're not going to be talking about every of this in every show.
No.
Right? Every show should have like a...
This is like a general idea we have, but it might like just mixing with other things together.
Okay, that makes sense.
主要一个准则出来，哪些主题是我们会接触到的，但是当然它可能会互相的有一些牵引之类的。
It's just this real estate looks a little bit commercial. It looks very commercial. And like I really want any of these topics to help people who are our viewers. Culture, there's a lot of, when we talk about culture, we can talk about music. I really want to introduce a lot of Nigerian music to the audience. I can give you like links and stuff to go listen. Yeah, and then kind of like what they're talking about in the music. I think that would be really interesting.
What?
Like,
so I wasn't here. What's going to be really interesting?
For example, when I talk about music, right? Think of a Nigerian music you can remember right now.
Oh. Godwin.
Huh? Godwin. Okay, so Godwin, it's a Nigerian music by Ep.00. So if I want to talk about it, we can play the music. It sounds good. It's interesting. It's catchy. And Godwin, it's actually God Wins. It's the name of the song.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of like interesting like pidgin English, for example, or like what is the subject matter of the song, and those can be topics we talk about because basically it's related to the culture. And if we want to stick to cultures, I think we will stick to Nigerian culture and Taiwanese culture.
Yeah.
And because we should only talk about things that are related to us and things we have a good knowledge of. And
also based on the guests. If we have a guest from a different country,
you're right.
They can talk about the things.
So whenever Phoebe and I are talking together, we only talk about things that we have a good experience. We know. Yeah. And then when we invite a guest and the guest wants to talk about, for example, Israeli culture, then we can,
dig into it.
Yeah. So think of this. If there's a guest here, where does the guest see? Who's like crush the guest? Like where does the guest see?
This table is too small.
I guess it's like this, right? When there's a guest, I get a camera, but I go behind the camera. You can still hear my voice. And if the guest is I will do it like this. If the guest is speaking Chinese, Phoebe becomes the host. And I'd be like a co-host in the background shouting, "Hey, Phoebe!" And then if the guest is speaking English, maybe I can be the host. Yeah. Or if the subject is related to me, I be the host. And the subject is related to you, you be the host. Right? That makes sense. And then the guest can sit here or here. On my seat or your seat. Okay. So I guess that's it for today. We have enough brainstorming. Is there anything else? Oh, yeah. So if this is the show, that means we want to invite a lot of you, our viewers. So if you have something related to the topics we talked about, or you are in the community and you want to talk about what you're doing, we would love to help promote you. It doesn't cost you any money to come here for a couple of hours, have a coffee with us.
对啊，我觉得不用害怕，或者是像我觉得青埔这个社群真的很特别，就是大家很乐于分享，然后也社群力量蛮强大的，所以 大家都想要成长，然后往更好的地方去。那如果有很多东西想要跟我们一起分享，或者是想要参与我们的 show， 当然可以主动的，就是跟我们私讯啊
We'd like to
之类的。
hear your stories.
对
We'd like to hear your struggles.
因为我们永远都觉得故事才是最动人的。
Yes.
所以不是什么设备多好啊，硬体多厉害啊，其实是背后的故事。所以不要害羞，可以
Stories.
对，把你的故事分享给我们，分享给大家。
Okay, this is very interesting. We should add stories. It's kind of like a bit of history. We should have a story time.
Yeah.
How do you say the story? It's like
很久很久以前
很久
Once
很久
upon
以
a
前
time
有一个老外叫 Louis， 她嫁给一个女生。
你不能嫁，你是取语。你嫁 if you use 嫁 is like in the Chinese way doesn't make sense. You have to change your last name to my last name.
Change. Let me have to
是
say.
取语。
很久很久以前，有一个老外叫 Louis， 娶一个太太叫 Phoebe 才有钱。You know, I always call Phoebe 才有钱. She's like 才 got money, you know, 才有钱。
乱讲。
才 got money. I think this is a better dynamic. Maybe we shouldn't call it Qingpu Live. Maybe we should just be Phoebe and Louis. Yeah, because Qingpu is kind of limiting.
Exactly.
And then if we're talking like this, it's very casual.
对啊
I even prefer the casual way.
对啊，
Yes.
本来就是。
All right, this is my wife and Phoebe and Louis, and we're signing out for today.
Okay.
Sorry, frequency. We didn't talk about frequency.
Oh, I think every 2 weeks.
Phoebe wants to do it every 2 weeks, but I think what we should do is we film 2 episodes and release every time. For example, it's 1 hour long, we're filming.
Yeah.
After 30 minutes, we just quickly go back, change our shirt, mess up our hair, and just look like
continue.
and then continue the second episode.
Okay.
And then we release the 2 episodes like on a weekly basis. I think if you want to keep the audience, you got to do weekly basis. Also, when we have guests, we can invite 2 guests.
Okay.
So that means that when 2 guests come here, we can talk about a bunch of stuff together.
好啊。
Okay, so it's about 20 minutes run time. Is that a good run time? 20 minutes? I think we should hit 30 minutes. I think 30 minutes is a good... well, if we have like 30 minutes, we can touch a bunch of topics, but we should hit 30 minutes. See that timer right there? Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry. Anytime I'm looking off the camera, there's a small screen here where I will see. I also didn't show the audience this switching. It's kind of like... okay. So this is the setup. Mm-hmm. This is today is
11th.
July 7th?
13th. January 13th.
Can we do the first episode tomorrow?
Tomorrow?
Yes.
Sure.
So we'll do our first episode tomorrow. This is how I would play with this footage in post and put our logos and stuff and for a teaser, okay? All right, thank you, audience.
Thank
and
you. Until
our next episode is Louis and
Phoebe.
live from
Qingpu.
So the name is not live from Qingpu. It's kind of saying, kind of the way they say, live from New York is Phoebe and Louis. So boring. Bye.
Bye. That's it? Okay. Bye.
All right, but at least we have a dynamic. It's quite interesting at the end, better than stop recording.